All right, guys. Yeah, we'll do it live. I know I haven't seen you guys, or you haven't seen us in quite a while, with everything going on, moving and family stuff going on. We just haven't been able to get on. So we are live. This is live. I'm not trolling you. This isn't going to be sorry we didn't do this video later, because that would be funny to do, but we're just still going to say no videos. So we'll heartlandoffenders.com. There you see on my left, right, whatever. Today's not a good day for directions. We'll get heartlandoffenders.com, Heartland Offenders on YouTube, and we may be somewhere on the F-Book, but we're buried a bit. But check it out, Heartland Offenders. You can check out about us. There's a video right here that has us get a little bit to know us just from the video, or if you want to talk to any of us, you can message us. Hey, Redneck Gamer, how you doing? Let's get Jacob in here. Cosper is coming soon. I don't know when. He said about 5 minutes, probably. He'll be running behind. We'll see how that goes. I know he has not had much time to set up his setup. So, hey, Jacob.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, goodness gracious.
How have we been? I mean,
I don't know. I've been on a boat. I've been,
Well, let's see. If we're going that way, I've been on a boat. I've been new job.
Wait, a new job?
New job. Now I'm looking for another new job.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
So moving on up. Gotta deal with a person to do some networking work for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just did a phone conversation to start the process for a company working with Toshiba. And then a family relative of mine works for a company that works on laser systems and computer systems for doctors' offices. And
Nice.
shot him my resume because they're looking for somebody in my area, so those guys don't have to keep coming from all over the state of Ohio to get here.
Yeah.
So
nope.
a lot of fishing poles out in the water. But the funniest part is, from the lockdowns, all we keep hearing is, people don't want to come back to work. You can't get your burger, you can't get your fries because we don't have enough people working. But at the same time, I jumped back into the job finding field after years at the same company. And I mean, for the love of God, it's like, oh no, it doesn't matter if you've been with the same place for 12, we can pay you $15 an hour. We can pay you $17 an hour. It's like, I can't leave that for that.
Well, right. And I think companies are going to start to realize that. I think it's going to take them a little while though. I think they still have that idea that, well, whatever, you don't want to work for us, see ya. But a lot of companies that are paying below $15 to $20 an hour don't realize that there's a lot more companies paying 20 plus an hour to do things. I mean, hell, the fast food and the gas station issue, that's because they've been so used to paying people minimum wage for so long, and nobody wants to work there anymore because you can go to freaking DoorDash and Uber, and you can make $20 an hour during prime time.
I know people that work full-time jobs, and on the side when they're not at work, they're DoorDashing and everything else, and they're offsetting their paychecks by thousands.
Oh yeah, I know. Before it got really popular to do Uber, it wasn't unheard of for me to make $800 on a New Year's Eve night.
Yep.
And it wasn't unheard of for me to make good money on weekends, specifically drinking hours, because a lot of people got smart and stepped away from it. But here's the thing, those McDonald's, and not that we're getting endorsed or anything, fast food companies and gas stations, they're having problems because they're losing those people can just drive and go do that.
Well,
to make that kind of money.
Think about it. If the welfare system is set up and paying more than minimum wage to not go to work for the pandemic, whatever aspect of it you want to pay into, it isn't, blah, blah, blah. We're not talking about that. But if the system is paying more than the minimum wage job is, to not go back to work because of X reason, why would they go back to work if they don't have marketable skills, if they don't have, I've got a resume that is cater built to what I'm looking for.
Yep.
I've got a resume that is jam packed with every keyword that people want to look for in a resume for the jobs that I'm applying for. I'm seeing people contacting me and trying to get a hold of me for this job and that job, everything from IT to maintenance to this and that. And then the conversation comes up with the pay and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it's falling apart. But the problem I see out of it is the big conversations are you can't get your burger and fries, or you can't go to the sit down restaurant to eat, even though it's open, because nobody's working. That's because the company, and I'm not promoting the raising of minimum wage. That's
It's crazy.
That's not this conversation. The conversation is you have to the there has to be the discussion of the government is right now incentivizing people with the skill set for those jobs
Mm-hmm.
to not go back to those jobs because they get paid more to sit at home, stay safe, than they do to go to work.
Well, so here, I don't know about some states or where anybody's watching from that watches this later, or the however many people are watching now. But here in Ohio,
3.
so here in Ohio, they've stopped the extra $300 a month or $300 a pay or a week, which is what, $1,200 extra a month you would get because it was $300 a week. They stopped that from the federal government. They said, we're not doing that anymore here in Ohio. We will stop taking that money. We will stop paying it out. So, and I heard, and they talked about that before I got my job. And that was one of the reasons I jumped on my job like I did. They offered me decent money, great benefits. And I didn't want to run that risk of, oh yeah, I could have went all summer without working if they kept the $300. But I didn't want to run the risk of, hey, what happens if that $300 a week disappears? Then I'm not going to be able to afford anything, and we're going to get behind because that's the only thing keeping us afloat.
Jeremy, I know you don't have kids of that age. I know you have kids, but you don't have kids of that age. I do. So I'm over here making money just because I have kids.
Yeah.
And I'm not sitting here saying good thing or bad thing. I'm saying the government, even under Trump, was incentivizing people to sit at home.
Right.
And now our conversations are you can't get a burger and fries because nobody's working.
Now, you can. It's a lot slower. I've noticed a difference in when I go out to eat, specifically fast food places. I've noticed a difference in service. I noticed you sit in lines for a lot longer. You're waiting a lot longer because they have less people working shifts and overworked people. But again, if you can't get people out to work or you're not paying people enough to work, they don't want to come in and flip burgers because if they can stay home and make more money, they're not going to do it. But no, I'm lucky. I feel lucky with the job I ended up landing with. I think I got lucky. Even though jobs are becoming more and more like, dude, I have headhunters calling every day. Every day I'm telling these guys, I'm not available. And unless you can offer me more than this, I'm still not available. And they go, oh yeah, I can't pay that. And I'm like, well, then stop calling me. 3 days later, somebody else from the same office calls me for a different job.
Yep.
And
the headhunting is real right now. That's the thing that's kind of gotten me like, what the actual happened here. It used to be you would either put yourself out on LinkedIn or Indeed or things like that, and you would be contacted 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 people, recruiters for a company.
Mm-hmm.
In the last 2 weeks, I've been to veteran only web job fairs.
Yeah.
I've been to I've gotten LinkedIn, I've gotten Indeed messages from people, and they're not recruiters specifically. Their companies are contract companies who contract to find people for specific full hire companies,
Yep.
and or they're an entity that is separate from a company that you would end up working for, and you work for them, and you're just paid money. That's it. They don't do insurance. They don't do anything. You get a paycheck.
Yeah.
That's it. And you work for this company. They have a very lucrative, and all you really ever know, very lucrative business deal with large corporations for your services, and you make pennies on the dollar compared to what they're making
paying.
from
Even the
from the
headhunters
work
and
you're doing.
and the contractor companies,
Yep.
temp agencies. And I know, and you know what? Whatever. It's not politically correct to call them temps anymore. Whatever. It's a damn temp agency. And
It is.
I get calls from agencies in Rhode Island, New York, and they're like, "Hey, I got a job for you in Akron." I'm like, "But you're in New York." They're like, "Yeah." And I even had one call me, and this wasn't recently, about a job at Lockheed Martin in Akron. They talked to me all up about the job, but because they were out in New York, they didn't know that parts of Lockheed Martin was leaving Ohio. So they were just trying to get people in to finish up some engineering work to then let them
Yep.
go later. And I was
Yep.
like, "Nah, I don't want any of that."
That's what I found out a lot. Jumping out of the cable world and into the IT world.
Oh yeah.
That's what it is. You're not going to come in and make money as an IT consultant or a what is the word I'm looking for? Somebody else in the comments is going to rip me up remembering this word.
Michael's iPad. Two. You got two iPads, Mike?
Two.
Wait, it's still
He's connecting
connecting.
to audio. What? Negate it. You're never going to come in making $200,000 a year as a top tier like IT consultant or security consultant or anything like that. But what these contract companies do is come in and make hundreds of thousands of dollars off of you for the company.
Yep. Well, you're
And
getting
pay
50.
you $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year out of it.
Yeah.
And the contracts are labeled as partial, 6 month, 3 month, 6 month, 12 month.
We can hear him.
Hey, hold on, I'm working on it.
You're good. Not extended or extendable. And it's a crapshoot, and you're busting your ass. You're trying to look good as an employee, and you're not making any money you're not making the real money from it. The work you're doing, the work you're putting into it is worth the $100,000 a year.
There he is.
You got a hotel, bud?
I'm on my iPad, so.
Hey,
Shut up, man.
Wait.
hey, I did it one night. You remember I was on call and I popped it on there a couple of times in the middle of the show.
You haven't unpacked
Yeah,
fully yet?
He's kicking back in the recline. He's like,
Yep.
first
No,
night back.
that's the new headboard.
Oh, so he's just in bed. then.
Oh, he's in bed. Well, all I can say to this is the people that watch the show after is gonna get the conversation, because I'm pretty sure, Jeremy, you're watching it. I'm Redneck, and I bet you Mike's watching it, and that's the three that's watching it.
Yeah, Brad.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, no, actually, I'm not. Since I'm on my iPad, it's just I can't see it but this.
Brett's watching it.
Yeah.
Brett's watching it.
Yep.
Okay, okay.
We got one. We got one. Hey, Brett.
Well, we kind of figure we were going to be talking to ourselves the first show anyway.
I said that last week when I was like, if we have to take another week.
We gotta get back into it. Jeremy, if you can do me a favor while we're sitting here, I'll break in to the meat and potato part of the conversation. But can you do me a favor and in our Discord chat for media, scroll up above the link to this, and there's a link to a TikTok video.
Yeah, hold on. That covers you up. I can't pull that up at the moment. Hang on 1 second here.
You're good.
I'm
good.
trying not to put our information on this show, and it's not happening. There we go.
Cosper, did you have an opportunity to watch that video?
No, I have not yet.
You remember Mark Robinson, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I watched that video.
You remember the speech he gave 2016, 2017, 2018, whatever it was, where it was the rousing passion of, I'm not a bad guy, I'm a law-abiding citizen, all that. Jeremy, if you can pop that up, cut the audio over, me and Cosper can shut up, but it's less than 30 seconds, maybe 60 seconds.
I think it's a little longer. Hold on.
But the man he's making a hell of a point. And if you haven't watched it, obviously you're going to get to watch it now. Well, unless you're watching the live stream, you might not be able to see it on here, Cosper. You might be able to hear it. But in this video, it's him doing the lieutenant governor's speeching and stuff like that. But the whole speech is we can't just sit here and I don't want no trouble. Take our guns because I don't want any trouble. I don't want any trouble. We don't want any trouble.
Now, is this part of his new thing that he's doing, the 1776 project?
Not sure, possibly.
Okay.
I found it on TikTok, and I was like, we need something to come back with. The lockdown conversation's coming back up. I'm hearing from people in the state hierarchy and structure that the conversation's happening and it's being talk about in the office. And it's like I asked it in our little chat where we said, what are we going to talk about? Like, are we going to sit by, where's the line? Are we going to sit by and comply and let them lock the country down again and tell us that this thing's going to kill us all and fear the hell out of everything and put the mask on? You got a vaccine. We told you 2, now it's 3. We told you it was going to cure getting it, and now you're a super spreader because you got it. And you got to wear a mask even though you got a vaccine. And you got 2 shots, now you need 3 because it can't fight this, and then you need 4, and then.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, at what point? At what point?
I got you.
Okay, I got it pulled up. Hold on here.
Go ahead and play it. I'm pretty sure me and Cosper won't be able to see it, but go ahead and play it for everybody.
Yeah. You won't even be able to hear it either. I'll let you know.
Imagine where you would be if somebody else didn't want no trouble. Imagine where this nation would have been if the men at Bunker Hill didn't want no trouble. They want to just stay in the house and say, I know the British are here to get our guns. Let them have them because I don't want no trouble. I just want to go out here and plant my farm and, do my blacksmithing and do my preaching. I don't want no trouble. I don't want no trouble. Let them have it. I don't want no trouble. Imagine what it would have been like when the Democrats, and I call them the Democrats, decided they were going to make their own nation because they didn't like our Constitution. Does that sound familiar to you? Imagine what it would have been like if Americans had said, well, no, I ain't going to do nothing about that because I don't want no trouble. I don't want them saying that I'm a Negro lover, and I don't want nobody saying nothing about me. Imagine if the men at Gettysburg hadn't been there and Fredericksburg hadn't been there. Imagine what would have happened, my God, if when the Japanese had come here and bombed Pearl Harbor. If Americans had cowered and said, no, we can't go to war. Remember what happened the last time we went to war? We got all them letters on the doors and all them boys came home under flags and they were buried across the sea and never came back. We don't want no more trouble like that. Just let them have it. Let them have what they want to do. We got to deal with them Nazis. No, we don't want no trouble. Imagine what would have happened if we had just watched the communists continue to take nation after nation and hadn't stood up in Korea because we didn't want any trouble. Hadn't stood up in Vietnam because we didn't want any trouble. Hadn't stood up during the Gulf War because we didn't want any trouble. And hadn't stood up after 9/11 because we didn't want any trouble. See, trouble is good. Trouble is good. Yeah, it is. It's good. Sometimes it's good to run dead into it. Because when freedom is at hand, when freedom is being threatened, it's a call. It's a call to run towards trouble. Keep my mouth closed because I don't want no.
Okay, we're back. Oh, hang
Okay.
on. Let me
Yeah,
transition
I
that.
switched over to YouTube real quick. I think that might be part of his new project because I joined. He's got a new project. Of course, it's the ever popular 1776, which I'm noticing is like popping up all over for Hillsdale's College has got a 1776 everybody's got a
Well,
1776.
it's the new 3%er. It's the new.
Yes.
It's Trump. If you follow the rabbit holes, you see where Trump said the number 17 1,000 fucking times in his presidency. And they have video evidence of him saying 17 specifically over and over and over again. And Covfefe is a thing. And oh my God.
Yeah, you know what? You know how long it's been since it's funny. People are, I hear conversations, people talk. Yeah, did you see on the news? I'm like, no, I didn't.
No, I don't watch the news. And you know what? I actually
I haven't
said
seen
that
on the
today.
news in 7 years.
Yeah, I actually said that today. We had a class in at my work. Some guys from the West Coast area, and they're actually pretty level-headed for being from way over there. And they said something about the news and said, "Did you see that?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "I don't think I've seen the news in like real like TV mainstream news in like maybe 10 years." And they looked at me like I was absolutely out of my mind. I'm like, all they're doing is just trying to make me scared or trying to make me, go buy this new thing, or I need to go buy more gas, or what's the thing now? Oh, which, by the way, I'm really upset about because Sunday, and this feeds into everything, the chicken shortage. I paid $34 for 2 dozen wings.
Right?
And they didn't even warn me.
Hey, actually, for some reason, Wingstop, if it's not like the best, but Wingstop, for whatever reason, seems to have an unlimited supply, and they're not.
No. They have commercials out right now. If you're watching alternative television like Pluto TV or anything like that, you can see all these weird ass commercials. Have you heard of Tom Wong yet?
No.
Guy running for Ohio governor?
No.
Or Ohio representative, I think. Tom Wong. He's not a politician. He's not a lobbyist. He's just Tom Wong, and he approves his message. Best commercials I've ever seen in my life. They're hilarious.
Nice.
Look him up. Great sounding guy. Haven't met him yet. But they've got a commercial now, and it's the Wingstop bag, and it says chicken shortage, and we're all out of, wings and all that. And it says, get you some thighs from
I understand.
Thigh Stop.
Yeah.
But if you and I know, and I saw that, and I thought the same thing. But when every time we call, because we've been getting shit together. We've been doing DoorDash and all this other shit. Man, every time we call up by the one around here, they're like, "Yeah, we got tons. What do you want?"
Yeah, well, and that's every place I've gone has never told me they're out yet. But like the shock that I paid $17 a dozen. A dozen wings.
Well, Plan season.
I remember them I remember Wing Nights when they were like 25 and 10 cents.
10 cents.
Are we really talking about this? Like a pack of cigarettes used to cost $1.50. Now it's
No. Even when cigarettes were $4 or $5, you could go to a wing place and get wings for $0.25.
Yeah.
I mean,
here's one for you. Holly went to get canning jars, and they're completely sold out at Walmart in Lancaster.
You know what though? It is canning season though. It is that time of
Yeah,
year where people
it
are
is.
starting to
It
pull
is.
it in from their gardens, and you're not going to
Yeah.
find canning jars.
This is not a good time to go look for canning jars.
She found them. Well, and why do you think she's going to get them? Because she's pulling in produce from the garden.
Right.
Well,
And so is a few hundred other people in your area.
Well, down here, there's probably a few
But other
thousand.
things, but other things you are starting to see it. You can tell the hoarding starting because my daughter's a perfect example. The baby formula they use, the Pro Sensitive, is she's down in Georgia. Down there, she went to like 6 stores, found like a can.
Oh wow.
And that stuff's like 40 something, $42, $45 a can.
Well, unless you get government assistance for it, then it's free.
Well, I wouldn't know about that.
I
Yep.
don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're on, if you have a kid and you get on WIC, at least in Ohio, it's WIC.
Yeah.
You get coupons for it. It's free.
She's married and she can't, so.
Yep.
Yeah. If they weren't married, she could get free shit, but they are, so they don't. But the formula, baby food, stuff like that, she's already seeing it clearing off the shelves now.
And it's crazy because, so and I know we're at some point we were trying to roll into this anyways. The people are getting worried that we're gonna have a full-on shutdown again. Like people are like, "Oh, we're gonna have to stay home again," and people are gonna buy all the bread, and toilet paper, or not even bread. The people are just gonna buy toilet paper, and there'll be plenty of bread.
You know what the worst part about this whole conversation right now is?
It won't happen.
No, I think it will.
We won't go full shutdown where there won't be restaurants, there won't be public things. They'll go backwards. I know they'll go backwards to forcing us to all wear masks again, or trying to force us to all wear masks.
Yes.
Because
and that's where I'm gonna ask Cosper. Did you ever truly comply with the first mask mandate?
No. I mean, I would say truly no. I mean, there were places that that quite frankly, I needed to go, and because we shop for certain things at certain stores,
right? That
I wore it, I wore it, literally in the minute I checked out, I took it off, even walking out of the damn store.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, if again, but I've been a proponent, we had these conversations through it. If it's your business, whatever, I think I don't think it changes much. I don't think it really, really helps to the effect that they say it does. And that's just my own personal feeling. It's not a medical opinion. I didn't see where it made a difference. Mm-hmm. But whatever, just like, if I'm on vacation and, you got to wear shoes and shirts and whatever, I don't care.
I think part of the issue of it's getting worse, what the numbers are going up again, is because people are out doing things. It's nice out. Hell, I was on the lake this weekend, and it was packed. Like any of the bars that you could stop at on the lake, packed. I mean, to the brim. But you couldn't even find a spot to freaking dock your boat to go in, walk to the bar to go to the bathroom, or get a drink, or whatever you wanted to do. I think it's just because so many people are out trying to get back what they lost last year, and there's a lot more contact going on. I think we'll go back to the masks. I think you'll see the clear plastic things go back up everywhere like before, at the gas stations and in front of everything. But I don't think we'll go full shutdown. I really don't.
No, I don't think that. I agree, and I think also part of the problem is that people who, and this goes back to the reason the flu spreads and everything else. People that aren't feeling good because they lost out on their whole summer last year. If they're feeling a little not great, but they have an event to go to, they've paid for a ticket, or they're finally getting to see their buddies they haven't seen, and they're going anyways, and they're getting people sick. And that's and that I get the outrage. You know what? If you think during a quote unquote pandemic, if you don't feel good, if you think you might have a fever, if you think even if you think it's only a cold, don't be a douchebag and still go out.
Right.
You know, I mean, because that's why, and that's why I sort of got in the beginning. I understood the kind of the shutdowns to some degree because people are ignorant, and they felt that a vast majority of the public was too stupid to stop it on their own.
Trying to stop stupid.
In all fairness, it is probably true to some degree.
In all fairness, I think that the population couldn't figure out how to fucking tie their own shoes, let alone.
Well, exactly.
So, this goes back to my argument. Just take away the warning labels. Let nature take its course. Take away the masks. Take away everything, because everything has a risk anyways. Your car has a higher risk of killing you.
Is it? Am I the bad person that when I was watching those COVID-19, the coronavirus, Japanese videos online, watching those people just drop over like right in the street, was it sad that I was kind of excited that might be what's happening here? Like,
so here's the funny thing. Here's the funny, I was mentioning, I was having that very same conversation with someone a couple of days ago, one of our normal truck drivers. And, what probably people don't understand, there was probably a reason those people were dropping in the street, and people probably it didn't even cross my mind until much later. And then we started talking about it. Let's not forget in China, if you are, everybody's got their little card. Right. If you are on the bad citizen list, what are the chances if you have a fever and you're sick and you go to the hospital, they swipe your little citizen card and you're a bad citizen? What are the chances you get top priority?
Right.
I'm betting you get kicked out the door, and then so all these sick people that were bad citizens are probably roaming the streets, and then all of a sudden somebody in China went, oh shit, we have a pandemic, maybe we shouldn't have released them to the public. And then you started seeing the videos of them rounding them up and and people fall. So that's and purely speculation.
Oh, that's all 100% speculation, because there's no system in Japan that tracks citizens. And
in China, yeah. No, that's 100%. That can be proven.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the funny thing. So we're talking about that, and the gentleman, the driver, one of his friends married a Chinese girl, and she lived in up until about 3 or 4 years ago. She lived in communist China, and she used to hang out. She hung out with a couple of people who were, not the best kind of people, but not like in the eyes of the Chinese government. They were very vocal about communist China and things going on. And so one day she gets her credit card statement, because it's, a national run bank that you get your credit through in China. So she goes and looks at her credit card, and because of her status of, hanging around other bad citizens, her credit card interest rate was raised 10%.
Woo! Nope.
For being around.
Now, is this associating with or just in the vicinity of?
Associating with, yeah. The best we can figure out is, when they had gone to, she was good friends with them, so they'd gone out to eat a lot and bought things at the same store at the same time. So literally by association with bad citizens, she became a bad citizen.
Could you imagine if that was just they were in the same place at the same time at like two different, like a restaurant and a store?
Right?
Because I've had that happen. I've seen people where I'm like, "Are you following me?" Like,
I mean,
Right.
does this not?
like I just ate next to you. Now I see you in freaking Home Depot.
Could you imagine what our credit rating would be in China?
Whew. Yeah.
Be like loan sharking.
Yeah. Ooh.
But I mean, and it's funny. So it's it's all, I don't know, man. I don't know, and I just don't know if people are going to go along, only because the shutdown didn't really change a lot. I mean, I'm sure it had some effect. I'm sure it did. But I don't think people are going to put their livelihoods in jeopardy again. Business owners.
No, a lot of people lost their
I think
businesses.
so, Will. I think so. I think just like with the first wave, I mean, I feel like we're going to go in waves, and I responded on a video that said, why are they doing? Why is this even a talk again? It didn't do anything. It did. It didn't. And blah, 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 blah. And I literally said in the comments, "What's next year?"
Oh, well, you're always 2 years away from an election.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're going to go in cycles. We're going to hit cycles towards the end of this year.
But is it? But my thing is this really, because there's just as many Democratic business owners.
Oh no! My meaning behind this statement is that this pandemic is not a pandemic. It is politic.
Well, but here's the thing. Here's the thing,
But
though, with
how
that.
does it
Hold on.
help you?
It's
But
going
how
to
does
be
it help you politically?
Well, but-
I guess where I'm going.
And that's what I was
fear.
about to say.
Oh my
though.
God! Fear is the best manipulator.
Well, but here's
If
the
you
thing, though.
fear-
So he when he tried to become president, our new president, our current president, he said how horrible of a job, and he could clean this up in no time. So the fact that he said that, this is actually, because it's getting worse, is making him look really bad. Oh,
Yeah.
so it was
It's-
really that easy, was it?
to the people that voted for him, it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah.
Oh, but I think it.
literally
But I
had this
think it's
conversation today.
I think it's starting to. If you see,
Oh, I don't.
Yeah. there's some hardcore on pick the social media, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. There are some hardcore Democrats like, dude, what the fuck is going on?
Not going to disagree with you. There are a lot of what the fuck did we do? There's a lot of those videos. There's a lot of those videos. There's a lot of videos, especially now. There's a lot of videos where 2 months ago it was just get the jab, just get the vaccine, and now it's like, I did what you told me to, and now you're saying I'm a super spreader and I'm not fucking healthy and I have to put my mask back on, and everything you said was going to be isn't going to be. It's the complete up. There's a lot of people waking up. There's a scene in The Matrix, and I really don't like using The Matrix as a point of reference on everything, but it's really getting bad with being a very good look. Where they're walking through the streets and the lady in the red dress and Morpheus is explaining how a lot of these people, they're not ready to be unplugged. They're not ready to take the unplugged, take the plot line out of the movie. A lot of these people that you look at and talk to and everything else, they're not ready to see the evil that is the world.
Or they don't want to. There's a lot of they don't want to either.
Yeah, I would say don't want to. Yeah, but at the same time, though, those same kind of people were really holding on to hope that they bought that it was Trump that screwed it all up, and Trump that and that's why the virus. And if you just got out there and you got people vaccinated, it would be all sugar plums.
But the same people,
but it's not working. So,
but the same people that you're saying it was all Trump. He did it bad. He did it. The vaccine was not created the day Biden became president. The vaccine was created before Biden was president. It had been created and manufactured.
Biden was pushing it from. I mean, it was.
He wasn't. There is
website.
video evidence. I will find that shit and we will play it next Tuesday. There is video evidence of him, Kamala, Nancy Pelosi, all of them stating, Trump gives that. If Trump's the guy who's giving out the vaccine, I'm not taking it. And the minute they got into power, they pushed the shit out of it.
They got Biden got it. Biden got the shot before he even took office.
Yeah,
I don't disagree, but watch the videos of them stating if Trump was giving them, he wasn't taking them.
Yeah, but I don't. But they were pushing the vaccine. I mean, they.
I'm not going to disagree, but back to the point you were making of people blaming it. It's all Trump's fault. Horrible management of the COVID-19 pandemic. Blah 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 blah. Whatever. It's worse now than it was then.
Well, I don't know if it's worse now.
According to the media,
the misinformation I think is worse, if not just as bad.
Well, we can't get into that. I mean,
that's a whole nother show.
That's an entire.
Yeah, but it's all the same thing because, that's the problem. The problem is that they're constantly, no matter pick it, and I don't care. You can go back to the Trump administration. You can go to the current administration. You can go to the CDC then, now, the WHO, all of them. They have walked themselves in so many circles how do you believe any of them anymore?
I know. Well, that's what I was going to ask. Which is non-misinformation? The fact that 95% of all the COVID cases in hospitals right now are unvaccinated, or the one that you can find that says that 95% of all COVID cases in hospital right now are vaccinated fully?
Right.
Which one's misinformation? Because if you find the information on the internet and show it, and someone reports you on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, or anything else, if it's vaccinated people, there's a very large chance that your post will be taken down. I myself reported a video stating that it was 95% unvaccinated people, with proof that the report actually says 95% of the cases in this particular hospital are fully vaccinated people. And the particular company responded that I reported the video and stated that it did not go against their community guidelines. The community guideline that I hit report on was misleading information about COVID-19 specifically. It was a specific choice.
Yeah, that they're gonna pick. They're told to go which direction.
So which is now to go back to that. You remember Cosper way back, and I mean we're coming up. I know we didn't really want to go for a full hour, but you remember way back. You remember way back when we had a semi-heated discussion over who is the person that makes the determination of what mental issues constitute lawful firearms ownership or unlawful firearms ownership, blah, blah, blah. You remember that?
Yes.
And my proponent was not that, any crazy motherfucker who wants to have a gun can have a gun. My proponent was, who the hell is the person that gets to make the decision on exactly what and where that spectrum stops or starts?
Right.
I got the same question about this. The reason I have the same question about this is the misinformation aspect, is the fact that you've got the press secretary of the United States president on camera stating that they are working. The federal government is working with Facebook, Twitter, and other social media platforms to pinpoint and suppress misinformation.
But really, isn't misinformation whatever you want somebody to actually think or hear?
hold on though. You're missing. There's something there in the background that not everybody is missing, but most are missing. That's not necessarily a bad thing. And here's why. So, because I have talked to several people that are following that particular issue very closely. A couple of them are in Ohio, a couple of them are elsewhere around the country.
And I hope we're on the same page on this, because that is the scariest shit I've ever heard in my life. You've got people.
But if the federal government actually, if they pass some kind, and it can be anything. It can be executive order. It can be an actual law. Any kind of actual directive from the federal government to social media on how they run it and how it's what you can and can't put as true or not true, automatically opens every one of those platforms and the federal government up to lawsuits, because now it isn't just Facebook censoring you. It is actually then the federal government abolishing your First Amendment right through social media, because now they actually will be opening themselves up to, and I know for a fact that 5 organizations that I know 100% already have lawsuits drawn up, and they are going to go straight to their state Supreme Courts and start suing the shit out of not only social media but the federal government over First Amendment, because
is that only if they catch them with document trail of this?
Well, but they've already started by the press secretary saying.
Okay. So that's not a document. That's a verbal video evidence.
Hey, don't forget In Ohio, a verbal statement is a contract.
Mm-hmm.
So here's my quorum with that. I made this statement in a video that I saw talking about this. When she said all this, and it became a hot topic, and I know it's a couple weeks old, but remember the NSA and Snowden and the whole spying thing? You really think it's that hard for the supervisors or the leads or the directors of those departments of patriots enacting the Patriot Act? You just say, hey, go to Facebook and scroll and look and report anything that is on this list or is this way or that. And then Facebook has been directed in a phone call conversation or a, dinner date or whatever the fuck time frame all the way through this chain, that these specific accounts need to be monitored for who they're reporting. And then Facebook's algorithm monitors for their reports and then does stuff to who they are reporting. So it's not the government doing it. It's private citizens that may or may not work for the government in a contract capacity, just scrolling through Facebook, reporting things that they find offensive and against community guidelines or misleading, and Facebook just favorably monitors for their particular profiles.
Well, but
the people that report it.
But you still open yourself up for lawsuit, and it's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same thing as if, let's say the police arrest. Let's say the police arrest someone who says, in their question they know, hey, we know you're at this house a lot. What are the chances you could go in there and buy some drugs, and if let's pretend you were to go in there, buy some drugs, or steal their logbook, and or whatever records they keep, and maybe then you happen to just drop them off here. Well, the minute you do that, that person, the minute you suggest that as part of the government and or law enforcement, the minute you suggest that person does that, you have now made them an agent of that department. And as an agent of that department, if that person is to go in there and grab those things, they are now grabbing those documents by an illegal search and seizure, and that now can be tossed out of court. Mm-hmm. So they're really
it's a very slippery. It's
very close to getting where you might actually be able to take the federal government to court. I mean,
it's a very slippery. It's a very slippery slope.
Yeah, will they win? Probably not. And I'm sure, like you said, I'm sure it's gonna be. They're gonna try, backdoor after backdoor after backdoor, so it doesn't lead back to them. But
I mean, it's gonna be the shift lead. It's going to be the shift lead to the supervisor, to the director, to the assistant director of this department, talking to the DOJ, talking to the CIA, talking to DOD, to then talk to
Hold on, I need my tinfoil hat here.
Third in command of her team. Yeah, it's going to be all over the place.
And I'm sure, much like most of these operations, allegedly, I'm sure somewhere in there there'll be a sacrificial lamb. They'll be like, no, he took that direction.
Oh, yeah,
you don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, that team of people that you just found that reported every single conservative in the last 6 months, and it was the same 7 people. Yeah. No, they were rogue. They were all doing that on their own.
They were supposed to be like looking at bunnies and kitty cats. I don't know what they were doing, but yeah. Oh, and it will, and it's going to be a mess. And and if they are trying to do that again, like you said though, with the pandemic and steps, maybe they use they use a distraction so they can do that again behind. It's just all. I mean, I know you're talking earlier. Go back 10 minutes about lines. Man, I think we're so past the lines at this point.
But then what? If you feel like we're past the line, what are we doing?
Well, and that's part of the problem, and it's a big part of in addition to everything else I've been doing. I've been I don't know, soul searching sounds stupid, but I don't know. I don't know what we're doing because we've talked about it for years now. The line. The lines are gone. I mean, the lines are gone.
And we talk about doing something.
We blew past that line the night that we at 2:00 in the morning watched the election go from one thing to another.
Well, and I mean, even before that, though, it was before that, and because I mean, the problem is though is we've talked about the line, we've talked about how close it's getting or not getting for each person because everybody's line's different. But I think what the biggest problem is we've even tried to get people to come sit down, talk, meet us at the State House. How many people showed up?
7.
Yeah.
7 people showed up, and we know we have a reach further than 7 people. We know that. We see it. We see the numbers.
What's funny? Cosper, how many times do you get phone calls from people like, I need you guys to do for us. I need, are you guys going to be here? No, we're not.
Yeah, well, but and I guess that's the problem. I mean, and I don't know, and maybe it's the problem. It's not the problem. Everything is just theater anymore. It doesn't. There's everybody goes out, they perform for a couple hours, everybody goes home feeling good, and then the show's over.
I wore my American flag tie. I did something patriotic today.
Yeah. And I'm not saying I'm not saying we should give up I'm not saying we should stop doing what we're doing. But I don't know what I don't know. The line's been crossed, but I don't know what the next step is. Yo,
Do you know?
January 6th didn't change anything.
They did.
No.
If you were there and didn't get picked up by the FBI or the CIA or anything else, tell me what it. Cosper, you and I had a huge debate. Not an argument, not a knockdown drag out fight, but a debate over the outcome of the Virginia lobby day.
Oh, for sure.
In 2020, early 2020 or late 2019?
I think it was early 2020. Yeah, it was like January, February. Something. I mean,
Okay. So early 2020, pre-pandemic, pre the world's coming to an end.
Yeah, just before. Yep.
Actually, I think we were kind of like, are we going to be allowed to do that? If I'm not,
it was just the talk was overseas. It just had.
Yes, it was definitely a kind of conversation happening.
Yeah.
But we had a huge debate, you and I specifically, over the outcome of said event. Thousands upon thousands of people there, and I'm a pessimist. Didn't do shit. Nothing changed. There's nothing going on here. Cosper is more of a realist, not so much an optimist, but more of a realist. I'm more of a pessimist, not specifically a realist. So we had a huge debate over that. But I just heard you say the same exact thing out of the January 6th stuff. So are you saying to me right now, I want to hear this on a recording, that Mike Cosper believes that the rally that presented prior to the insurrection and the quote unquote insurrection did absolutely nothing for the trajectory of our country?
Nothing for the I don't think it did anything
good.
Productive.
Yeah, it didn't do anything good.
Okay, I just
not
when we had that discussion, I took it as like I shouldn't say that because there's always something good out of it. And again, I'm the pessimist.
No, I know. I never really thought there was anything. The only and it's not, and I don't even know if I'd call it productive. The only thing that it, I guess maybe to some degree did is that it did show that there are plenty of people out there willing to, I don't know, fight for the country or fight for what they believe in, whether that's good or bad. They're out there.
But I mean, what's it going to take? What's it going to take to get that to happen again? I mean, is the only time that's going to happen again is if the audits in Pennsylvania, Georgia, Maricopa County,
those won't come to anything enough to change anything.
I think that's so.
That's what I'm asking, Jeremy. I'm not asking if it's going to do something. I'm not over here going, oh my God, Trump's the greatest thing ever. No, I'm saying what I'm saying is if those people, the ones that were there, that's why they were there. The election fraud. That was the whole point of that day. Was the confirmation or whatever the hell that word is.
Yeah, agree.
That was the whole reason they were there. Nothing else but that election. So if these audits go through, as many people right now that you can find online pulling up, showing videos, you got the My Pillow guy, Mike Liddell or whatever his name is, saying he's going to have an online symposium, and they're blocking him from being live or even recorded on Fox News, blah blah blah, to show election fraud. With all of these people right now going, look, here it is, we proved there's election fraud. If they go through the rest of these states or counties or wherever they're doing these audits at and prove that it was widespread and nothing happens, do you honestly believe that the power that's in there right now, the structure that's built right now, would not take the full opportunity of the Insurrection Act at that moment in time when that number of people plus more, because more people have woken up to it, because Cosper, I bet if it happened again, you would go. You're at that point.
Yeah,
probably-
well, yes and no. Yes and no. Here's the problem I have. The biggest problem with most of these, these guys, and I've watched so many videos of some of the yahoos were there, and some decent people that were there. There was never an end to the. There was no plan other than.
Oh no! I don't disagree to that.
Yeah, it was like it's like, okay. I mean, I get.
We're inside now.
I get the frustration. I get the anger. What seems to now be a little bit more proof that they're, probably, and maybe not enough to change the election, but there was
here.
Whether there's any fraud or not is obviously cause for concern.
Let me finish out that question.
I just don't think.
Let me finish out that question.
It has to be something specific.
Okay. So they prove, so hypothetical war room, and then we'll leave on this. We'll talk about this next week. We'll really get into the deep meat and potatoes of like standing up for yourself or standing up for your country or whatever. They prove undeniably that there was physically no way that Joe Biden was elected president. Donald Trump won it outright, period. It changes your mind. It changes my mind. It changes Jeremy's mind. Millions of people decide to march on that Capitol because the Supreme Court ain't even going to look at it. The House of Representatives, the Congress, ain't going to do anything with it. Millions of people show up. Millions of people stand out and chant, do your job, do whatever it is they're going to do. Right? Do you honestly believe that the way the system has been built over the last, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months now, would not take that opportunity to file immediate actions for the Insurrection Act and arrest every single one of us and go ahead and throw us right into those
Of course they would.
education camps or whatever, based on a document already written from 17, whatever the fuck it was, already written, and it's the same damn document that Trump supporters were screaming about with the riots that enact the Insurrection Act, throw all these people in jail. It's the same damn statement when Portland was burning and the tagless fucking soldier uniforms were ripping people out of the street.
I agree and disagree on that.
Do you think it would flip the script if it is proven that it was a fraud, it was fake, he is not legitimately the president? The question, just like with the mask mandates and the lockdown, if it comes back, are you going to comply? Like that to me is the biggest statement that people in our circle, people that run in our circle or our area, always say, "I'll not comply. I will not comply. I will not comply." That you ask anybody in this group, "Oh, they're going to take guns." Well, I'm not going to comply. If they outlaw guns, I'm an outlaw. Blah blah blah. Right? 100%. Are you? If they say, yeah, we lied, it was, here's the proof, it was fraud, but we can't do anything about it. Sorry.
Yeah,
I think that's different. I think that's different because, if it's proven, then if it's 100% proven, and it would have to be proven. I mean, like 100% positive evidence. We're pretty sure, not hanging Chad sure, like 100% sure. Then if both sides don't act on that, then there's, I don't know if there's anything worth fighting for, because then the country's fucked.
Yeah.
If they
So-
100% prove, it'd
But
be
like,
like,
we
if they
can't
walk up
keep
to-
going. We can't keep going.
No.
I'm sitting over here like, okay, I really want to hear another motherfucker out of their mouth say, yeah, if they prove that there's election fraud, I don't care where, it doesn't matter. It can come from the MyPillow guy. It can come from the forensic auditors. It can come from the federal government. It could come from Bobby and his basement, Mama's basement, who just happened to stumble on the 10,000 Trump ballots that somebody threw in the garbage. It doesn't matter. If they can prove, one, if it was fraud, are you saying you're going to fight for that? Or are you saying there's nothing worth fighting for at this point?
Well, no, I think if at that point our government doesn't take action, then the people have, because at that point they're 100% saying, yeah, because right now everything's speculation.
But
It's not, there's nothing proven. It's speculation.
But he's
And
already brought up.
You didn't hear me say, hey, let's go march on the Capitol right now and do an insurrection and say
No,
that fraud's proven.
Watch
What
them
I'm
words,
saying
buddy.
if there is 100, when they did the January 6th thing, it was they were 100% speculating that
Yes.
there was no way that Biden
Yes.
could.
Mhm.
Now, if there is 100% proof that he didn't get elected, and then our government doesn't act, whether, I don't care who you are, what side you are, then yes, then if we don't fight to take it back, then we're all idiots.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
Jeremy, get us out of here.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
late
trying.
in the evening. We definitely need to come back every week. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well,
I'll be here. I'll have my computer up by then.
the only thing I'll add before I step us out is that the one thing you brought up about them possibly being able to use the Insurrection Act against anybody that decides to, if that was 100%, I think the risk of people's comfort will be the thing that keeps them from doing it. And that's all I'm going to say.
But the ones that are willing to step outside of their comfort zone, do you honestly believe that the system would not use that act?
But by history, in current, say the past 15, 20 years, how many people have really been willing to step out of their comfort zone?
I'd say a couple million on January 6th.
There really a couple million there? I don't know. But anyways, on that,
We'll go to the tape. We'll find out.
We'll take her to.
we'll spend the week counting them all.
It'll be a week. Might have to take a 2-week hiatus to count all the heads.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm just saying, like, I feel like we're just stuck.
Here.
We're stuck.
yeah.
All right.
All right, guys. Everybody, thank you very much for watching. That came and watched and to watch after. Again, HeartlandDefenders.com, Heartland Defenders here on YouTube. And if you look deep enough, you might find us on the F-Book. Always think for yourself. Don't let, don't even take us for, straight, this is it. Go find out for yourself.
My opinion.
Yeah, opinion. If you want to talk more about it off, with us off show, you can email us at Heartland Defenders on our website.
On our webpage,
Yep.
HeartlandDefenders.com.
I was going to say, I know it's there on the .com. So, thank you guys very much for your time tonight.
Appreciate it.
And
I'll talk to you guys sometime soon.
Oh yes, and thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys again next Tuesday. Have a good one.
All right, later.